In other news, the accusations continue to fly in Hoboken's special 4th Ward Council election campaign. Charges of voters being disenfranchised are coming out of both camps. This afternoon, candidate Christopher Campos announced measures to ensure the constitutional right to vote by every eligible resident of the ward. A move he says was needed because of Don Zimmer's alleged questionable campaign activities. Jeff Hennig reports.
During a press conference outside of the Justice William Brennan Courthouse in Jersey City this afternoon, 4th Ward Council hopeful Christopher Campos told reporters that because of his opponent's voter fraud tactics leading up to Tuesday's election, including the alleged mishandling of absentee ballots, he wants the state attorney general's office to send a team of monitors to Hoboken on Tuesday to oversee the election.
Based upon my opponent's well-documented history of questionable campaign activities, I'm asking that the Attorney General once again come into Hoboken. I believe that this 4th Ward election should be decided by the voters of Hoboken in a fair and open process.
We have been following, working with the Board of Elections as outlined by the law to make sure that people who live in the 4th Ward vote in the 4th Ward election. That's the law, and that's what's fair. Over half of the names that we've submitted 84 names that have now, I think it's 80 names that have been investigated, and half of those names have been taken off the voter registration rolls.
I believe that the time has come where the type of absentee fraud that was committed in the last election needs to be stopped, and monitors need to be sent to the city of Hoboken to ensure that this process is open and fair.
The Campos campaign says that Zimmer is challenging the legal voting rights of dozens of housing authority residents, with more than 90% of those challenges against African Americans and Hispanics.
This, to me, sends a sad message. This message, it's a message of trying to disenfranchise voters who are Hispanic and Latino. Those type of tactics are not to be tolerated, and looks like a turnback, a page out of the history books of the Jim Crow South.
We have challenged people in different areas in the 4th Ward, and we are certainly not targeting certain people. We are, when we have concerns about whether or not people live in the 4th Ward, then we are working with the Bureau of Elections, and we trust the Bureau of Elections to do their job and make sure that only people who live in the 4th Ward vote in this election, because that is what's fair.
The Campos campaign also claims that Zimmer's campaign manager is a challenger, but because she lives in Pennsylvania and is not registered to vote in Hudson County, the campaign is violating the law.
She's not a challenger. She's working as my campaign manager, and we have people who are going to be challenging for us who are residents of Hoboken.
This is yet one more lie by the Campos campaign. They have continued to lie and try to smear our campaign. I am not a challenger. I will not be a challenger. I'm the campaign manager.
A stamped, certified list of 8 Zimmer election challengers, dated October 22nd, was obtained from the Hudson County Board of Elections by Hudson News Edition. It does not list Jenny Davis as a legal challenger for Tuesday's runoff. The Campos campaign says that it hopes to hear from the State Attorney General's office with regard to state monitors being brought into the 4th Ward for Tuesday's election by Monday. In any event, Tuesday's election should be quite interesting here in Hoboken's 4th Ward. The polls will be open between 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. In Hoboken, Jeff Hennig, Neighborhood Journal.